Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how I do a skin fade with a Slickback up top. Any comments, comment in the comment section below and let's get started. So I'm going to do a number 2 around the back and sides just to get the bulk out of the way and see what I can do with it. This first guideline is to basically set the whole haircut structurally. When I say structurally, I'm not wanting the sides taken away way high up, I'm just trying to keep them low, roughly about the temple lines. Once you go past the temple lines, I feel like you basically start to round off the haircut, and I'm not going for that on this. Like, I'm trying to keep everything square and masculine on this, as I feel it suits a lot better. So now I'm going to go in with the baldings, and this is going to give me my baseline for the skin fade. You can do this with your outliners, your any tricks, zero gap set detailers. I prefer using the balding clippers. If you want to know why, I've made a video for it, so go check that out. But this gets it pretty close to the bone. So balding's in. This baseline as well, guys. Your baseline determines what kind of fade you're doing, whether it be a drop fade, mid fade, low fade, burst fade. It all depends on this first line. Once you figure out what shape does what, you'll start to get a hang of it and realise all the difference between every fade that's out there. So I've put in the first guideline, made sure everything was even on both sides, had a good look around it. Now I'm going to go in with a number 1 guard, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to start to blend between the number 2 and the guideline. Keeping it flat, but I'm also flicking out just very slightly towards the end, just to blend in between the one open and the number 2. Just a slight C motion at the very top. Not pulling out, just coming off gently. So I'm going for 1 1/4, and I'm just coming just below where I took the one open. And close onto a number 1, and again coming just below the 1 1/4. Just brushing off. Now, one of the first things I ever learned as a junior was to keep your station clean. Well, after I learned how to keep the shop clean. But you know, as I moved on to the apprentice stage after the junior for a couple of years, when I was learning how to cut, was keep your tools, your section clean, and after that make sure when you're on the floor cutting hair, you keep the area around the head and neck, keep all the loose hair gone. So after every kind of step, I give it a wee brush down just to keep everything nice and clean and see what I'm doing a bit better. So I've moved from the one open into the 1/4 and the 1 closed, and now I'm going to stick a half guard on, and this time I'm going to go in with a 1/4. And I'm going to go just a tad below the first kind of guideline, but we put in with the 1 1/2, but halfway in between the 1 1/2 and the 0 there. And then I'm either going to go above that 1 1/4 with a half guard open, or I'm going to go down with the half guard closed below the half guard quarter. That sounds confusing, but if you watch closely you'll see exactly what I mean. So we're going quarter, open, go just above the quarter, and then closed, and we're going just below the quarter. Fading's all a numbers game, guys. Some people like to go straight in with the half, some people like to go straight in with the closed. Either way, as long as you're going from highest number to lowest number, that basically means the length. So the high, if you're going shorter to longer in a uniform way, you'll get a nice gradual clean fade. System, system, system. Without system there is only chaos. I don't know who said that, it might have just been me making it up, but it makes sense. You don't want to just start rattling in twos and ones and not know exactly where you're supposed to go with them. You can't be doing a number one and all of a sudden just going to make a half and make a big line, and you know, one side's higher than the other. You get your system down, you'll click on, and that'll be it. You'll get consistency. When you're in a shop and you're doing a lot of fades every day, you need that consistency to get you through. So I've got rid of the guard, as you can see, and I'm going in with no blade, no guard, and I'm pretty much going the exact same way as I went in with the one guard. I'm going open, slightly close up, and then close it fully. So open, quarter, 0. Bumping down that. You notice we're doing that a lot. Basically what I'm doing is just catching any loose hairs that might be peeking out. I like to use the corner blade on the curves of the fade as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start blending the sides into the top of the head. So clipper over comb, keeping everything nice and flush and square. Keep that shape, keep the square shape. This is just the standard wild clipper comb that you get in the box as well. I've tried different clipper combs from different brands and companies, and I've always found myself going back to this same comb. It's a lot more rigid than a lot of other combs. So if you put that comb at an angle, it's going to stay at that angle. A lot of other combs are kind of finer. They might be finer, which is ideal for taking out shadows, but when you're blending down clipper over comb this way, you do not want that comb moving about, and that's how you start getting little lines going up and down the head. I normally have 4 in my section. There's normally 2 in the barber side and 2 in the jar, so I can just alternate between the 2. It's just what I like. You know, you can find your own kind of tools that you always go back to. as you can see, 3 fingers below the crown. This is to keep the shape of the haircut in. As once you start going past that, past the 3 fingers, you basically your crown starts to disappear and disappear, and before you know it, you've got a line almost going towards the front of the head. You've got a kind of wedge look almost. So I try and stick to 3 fingers minimum on the crown area, just to keep good shape. And of course just try to catch any of these shadows as well while I'm there. And talc, I use quite a lot of talc. This is just to kind of lift any loose hairs that are kicking about. If it's a hot day as well, say the client's a wee bit sticky in the middle of our fade, you put a flat fade blade on that. That blade can stick, and it can sometimes graze the customer's skin. So if you've got talc on that keeps everything dry and keeps the blade moving nice and slowly across the scalp. Also guys, you might have noticed I sound a little bit better. I was listening to the last tutorial that I made and I noticed that it sounded awful. So I've went and bought a microphone for you so you can sit and listen to me talk. I ain't going to sing. I get into trouble for singing at work because I can't sing, but you can hear me sitting and ranting and go on about this. So what I'm doing here is I'm lining up between the temple area and the top of the ear in a straight line, and this is just to sharpen that bottom temple edge right up. I'm going to clean up the edges with the detailing as well before I go in with the foils, just so I've got less of a line to take out once I put the foils in to make it a skin fade. And it's not a skin fade without a set of foils or a straight razor. I much prefer the foils to the straight razor as well. I used to do all my skin fades with a open blade, and to be honest I prefer the foils as it gives it a smoother, cleaner finish, easy to blend that out, and takes about 10 minutes off for timing. Yeah, so foils over razor anytime. It's not that, because if you're doing a skin fade in work, and say if you're in 50-50 or chair rent, you're doing a skin fade and you get 10 minutes flung onto your time, that means the guy in the chair next to you, he can steal 2 haircuts off you, or he can steal another haircut off you anyway, and that's money out your pocket. So if you can use anything to take your time down, still keep the standard there, do it. So invest in a set of foils. Want to keep doing the tradition with an open razor, do it, but I would suggest that you charge a lot more for it. Just remember, barbering's a career and a job, it's not just a craft. Enjoy the craft side, but your pocket comes first. So I'm just making sure both edges there are cleaned up with make sure they're both even in both sides. Roughly only going in about 2 inches into the hairline with the foils. Right, I'm just coming off the temporal bone, I believe it's called, just the kind of bone just behind the ear. We use that as a guideline to make sure that both sides are even. Just going to flick out that fine line that the foils have made. I'm either going to use the edges at the corners of the T-plate. Going to turn the detailer around and just going to touch the line right out. Now I've got the magic clips just to go in a little bit closer to take any shadows or anything that I see at that moment in time. Next step from blending the sides of the top, I'm going to use scissor over comb, and I'm going to flow from the back of the head there and bring it round to the front, making sure I don't catch that fringe area. Okay, I'm starting roughly about 1.5 inches below the crown here to take my first section before I come down and work my way down onto the number, basically onto the number 2 there. The reason why I've done that dry as well is you want to see how the hair lies naturally, so when he's not doing anything with it, that's going to sit okay. Sit nice and smooth. Now we've soaked the hair, and now we're going to just take a little bit off the top. Jamie, by my chair, he's also a barber as well. I'll leave his Instagram. I'll put that in the bottom left hand corner there. Go give Jamie a follow. He's a great barber. He's one of my ex-colleagues, one of the only guys I've actually kept in touch with since I left work. You know, when you always leave a job, you say, yeah, I'll keep in touch. I've actually kept in touch with Jamie. He's a good guy, good barber as well. Right, so I'm going to start first section from the back. Come towards the front of the head. Each section that I take up, you can see from obviously if you're standing behind the back of the head and you pick that section up and then you move on to the next one, you can see each guideline moving forward. Similar to cutting from the front to back, but just in reverse. That's all it is. I just feel when the hair's a little longer, it's cleaner when you cut this way. Whereas in the last video the hair was shorter, so I found it easier to cut from the front to the back. Okay, so now I'm combing it back. As I said, this is going to be a slick back. we're still going to be growing this on top. However, we still need to start the style, so comb this to the side, move the fringe out of the way, and we're going to cut straight up and down. So that very top part, the higher up part, that is going to be where the disconnection starts. Now this isn't a disconnected undercut, a disconnected side part, but there is going to be a slight disconnection anyway, because if you're going from a skin fade to long hair, there's going to be a point where you'll notice that it's longer here than it is there, and that's the point where it starts. You're basically mirroring what I've done on one side of the head, and now you're going to do it in the exact same on the other. Now what I'm doing here is I'm cross-checking, and I'm just basically running across the head, making sure that there's no any part is sticking up or uneven. As any parts that are uneven will, as normally, leave scissor marks and scissor lines. Just cross-checking across the head there. As I said, Jamie's going to be growing his hair, so the front is a little shorter. See it dropping down there when I lift that section up. We're going to leave that section that dropped off there as you want. That section's actually got to be longer than the rest of the head. However, if I was to cut section part behind the fringe, he's not going to be able to wear it back just now. So we're just going to be patient with that and let that catch up, and then eventually overtake the top. However, when Jamie doesn't do anything with it, it's going to hang forward now. We're just going to take the very tips off just to get rid of any dead ends. Look straggly, it's coming forward there. But eventually we want that fringe to come past that, just past the eyebrows there, to get that perfect slick back. When you've got quite fine hair, you need a wee bit more length in it just to give it that weight to hold it back. But just the very end there, just to tidy it up a bit. Okay, now we're just going to blast it all back. Start seeing a little bit more progress in the cut. And of course, as I said, his hair, he's been wearing this hair forward for quite a while. He always normally wears it down in either a kind of messy mod, or a messy mod cut, or a little crop, or sometimes just messy. To be honest, most of the time that I worked with him, I never actually done much with his hair other than wash it, and that was it. So we're just going to push this back, get a rough idea on how it's sitting, as well as when it's dry we can see for any weight lines or scissor marks, or there shouldn't be if you cut it correctly, but the hair lies differently when it's wet and dry. So sometimes you miss little sections here and there. Some 80s hair just there. Looking very flock of seagulls. I see, thought I didn't see that there, but unfortunately for him there was a camera, so that was well cut. Just soften it up a little bit more, that's all. Just to get everything sitting that little bit smoother. The crown's still got to grow, but we don't want it to grow into a big kind of hook that you see a lot. So I'm just taking the very, very corner off just there, just so that it grows in nice and smooth. And he's also going to grow the beard out, so we're just going to give this a trim, or a shape up rather, just to tidy it up a bit. You'll notice I just used the corner of the blades there to catch the upper lip. I never want to go straight in with a flat edge. But the lip area is quite sensitive, so sometimes you can catch it all and it's not a very nice feeling. So I'm putting the razor on the beard edge right up on the cheekbone, give it a nice sharp edge. Now we're going to move on to styling the hair. Braid it down with some more apply gel. It's normal styling gel. And that through the hair. Bringing it back. And this basically acts as a kind of pre-blow dry solution. I'm using gel, it's a little stronger than using a mousse or say a sea salt spray. It just gives it that little bit extra hold. So I've put the gel in the water through it, grabbed the hairdryer, put the nozzle on it, full blast, and I've got the vent brush there, and we're just going to bring it all straight back. We'll lift it up slightly, the front area, just to get a little bit of volume. But at the back we're just running it straight down. Okay, now I've got some water-based pomade, or water-soluble pomade, sorry. I'm actually preferring the water-soluble ones as compared to the old oil ones. They wash out better and they pretty much just give the exact same hold. They smell better. Definitely the water-soluble pomades anyway these days, I'm digging. So just run that straight back from keeping the pan flat, as I've done that as well, as I didn't want my fingers going into the hair too much, so I just kept the flat pan and pressed it back. As you can see, and then I'm just going to slightly push the front section just to give it a little bit more volume and break it up a little bit more. Give it a little dash of hairspray, just a light one. And then come back and make any small adjustments. As I said, the back needs to grow a little bit more, so I had to sit and just press that down a little bit just to get it to sit down a bit better. That'll be sitting better in a couple of weeks. You won't even, you literally just put pomade in it straight away and it'll go straight back, no problemo. But just make little adjustments. Make sure you're happy with it. So once you do that, go back round the full head, give it a final check, as I've done myself. You know, I noticed that I would add a wee patch here and there. You go back over it, get everything sharpened up, show the client the back here, the back, make sure he's happy, make sure you're happy, and after that you're done, guys.